Up Education Network is a nonprofit school management firm. They're based in Boston. Their objective is to quickly turn around chronically underperforming schools. They're currently looking to take over one of Springfield's middle schools and operate it as a Horace Mann Charter School. Scott Given is Chief Executive Officer at Up Education Network. He is here with us to talk about their Springfield plans. Thank you, sir, for coming in. We appreciate it.
Jim, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Where does your proposal stand now? You have to go through quite a process with the local school committee and the State Department of Education. The school committee gave you, I believe, initial approval to go to the state and ask for their okay to then come back and formally apply to run a charter school here. Is that about right?
It's about right. So we've been really pleased with the conversations we've had with Springfield School Department and the Springfield School Committee. We're so excited to be in partnership with the Springfield School Committee on this endeavor. But in terms of the process, the school committee gave us approval of our proposed Horace Mann in-district charter school, which would open in fall 2016. And now that application goes to the state for their final approval. So there's just one more step in the process at this point, and if we get that green light in February, we'll be able to open the school in Springfield. And I think we're really excited about that possibility.
As I understand it, when Up Education moves into a school, you spend quite a bit of time training, or maybe retraining is the right word, the administration, and you invest quite a bit of money up front, getting the school equipped, I guess is the right word, up to the way you want it. Then your funding is just what it would be for any other of the schools in the district. It's a complicated process to begin with.
Yeah, I think what's important is, in essence, Jim, we get hired by a school district to take over the full management of a school, a traditional district school that's been struggling. And then our job is to make pretty significant changes to that school to ensure that the students who are in that school, the same students who have been in that school, can really receive a high quality education. And there's a lot that goes into that. We invest a lot of time building relationships with families before day one of school. We think really specifically about what the program needs to look like to make sure we're serving and supporting all students who have very special needs, etc. But then once we're actually operating the school, yes, we operate that school strictly on the public dollar because we really want to serve as a proof point for what's possible in improving a school very, very quickly so the students in those schools can really soar academically and otherwise.
You're going to be targeting a middle school in Springfield, a number of them having problems. Do you know yet, or what's the process to determine which school becomes your Horace Mann Charter School?
Sure. So we were really appreciative when Superintendent Dan Warwick came out and visited our schools in Boston and Lawrence, where we currently operate 5 schools, previously all underperforming schools, today schools that are performing at very, very high levels. And when Superintendent saw those schools, he said, "Scott, I'd really like you to think about coming and doing this in Springfield," which of course we were honored to hear. And what we said back to the superintendent is, you tell us where you need us. You tell us where the community has a need, and we will work to meet that need. And what we heard from the superintendent, what we've heard from families as well in the community of Springfield, is there's real need at the middle school level. We do not have any preference, any say in where we get assigned. But at some point, roughly a year from now, the school department will determine where is the best placement for our organization to convert a school into an in-district charter, and that's where we'll be. So it's really going to be based on the school that has the greatest need.
The Springfield Education Association, basically the, the teachers union, the president, Tim Collins, has not, to my knowledge, as I follow this, opposed what you're trying to do. He does express concern that all the attention toward improvement, what he's called your networks, philanthropic resources that you bring in, all get focused on the one school you're working on, and the rest of the Springfield middle schools and all the schools continue to struggle. What do you say to that sort of question?
Sure. So I think the first thing I would say is that we're really a unique operator of schools. Even though our school be an in-district charter, that's actually different from a traditional charter. And it's different in a lot of ways. One, we fully enroll the school from day one with all of those students who had been at the school. But two, all of our teachers are members of the local teachers union. And that's something we're really proud of, that we can be a part of the local union as we work to improve that school. And I think what's important is that once that school is operating, our school is operating on the public dollar. It's not drawing in additional resources from the local school district to make the improvement. What's really making the difference is the new expectations, the new support systems, the new curriculum, the new extracurricular activities that our families appreciate, that students appreciate, and as you look at our results in Boston and Lawrence, really in short order can help students succeed.
Correct me if I get any of this wrong, but as I understand it, under Massachusetts law, school becomes a charter school. All the teachers and administrators, if they want to stay at that facility, they have to reapply for their position. They're not losing their jobs, but they have to reapply for the position at that school if they want to stay there. I think the experience you've had at Up Network is, because it's going to be so different and a different approach and a different kind of day, a lot of current members of faculty don't apply to stay at that school. What has been your experience?
Sure. So when we put together an application for a school, we know that our #1 responsibility is to the students and the families in that school and to deliver them an absolutely world-class education. And to do that, we need to ensure there are tremendous teachers in our school building. And I know for a fact, because I've seen it myself, that Springfield has outstanding teachers today in many of its classrooms. So yes, we do invite teachers who have been in the low-performing school to reapply. They then go through an interview process and an application process. But then for positions we don't fill through that process, we then look elsewhere. We look across the community, we look to other communities, really try to draw in talent. And talent that's not just going to come in for a year or two and then leave. It's really critical that talent stays, because turning around a school is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And if you think about some of the other schools that we've turned around, we've gone from proficiency rates of 12% to 60% proficiency in just 1 year in reading skills, in math skills. That's unheard of, and I think the reason we're able to do that is because we have such a fabulous team of teachers that are so dedicated to their students.
You may have already answered part of this with your last response, but I know another question that people wonder about is, you're in Boston, you're in Lawrence, which is commutable to Boston, I guess you'd say. Can your model work outside a major metropolitan area where you don't have as big a pool of people, of potential teachers immediately available? That's one concern some folks have.
Sure, I think it's a good question, and I think that we are really confident that we're going to be able to succeed in the city of Springfield. And there's tremendous resources in this community. As over the last 6 months, as I've started to meet individuals, as I've started to talk to teachers, as I've started to talk to families, I've found just our model has been fully embraced. And we are excited for the opportunity and highly confident that we're going to be able to deliver on the promises that we've made in our charter application and really deliver for this city. We owe it to the city, and we really are proud to be a partner with them.
So at this point, you're in the process of working with, making your case to the State Education Department with February in the new year, the target date of when you find out if this is go or no go. Is that right?
That's right. And once we hear back from that, then we really get to work. Assuming that we hear yes, we really get to work. And there's a lot of activity that will happen over the next year and a half before we actually open Up Academy Springfield. Because on day one, we need to be absolutely ready and be sure that we are ready to really succeed.
Well, Scott Given from Up Education Network, thanks for sharing your plans for Springfield with us. Thanks for coming in.